Hi everybody, I'm Chris Callahan with UVM Extension Ag Engineering, here today to share with you some resources and tips that we've developed as part of a USDA NEFA Food Safety Outreach Program project called Scrub, Sanitizing and Cleaning Resources for Your Business. There are two main purposes that we tend to mix sanitizer with water for on a produce farm. One is post-harvest wash water treatment. So when we're rinsing vegetables, we want to make sure that we're preventing cross-contamination by treating the water that they're rinsed in. The second is for sanitizing food contact surfaces. So let's take them one by one. First thing is PPE, personal protective equipment. Always have a pair of glasses, safety glasses kicking around, something that is going to protect your eyes from splashing. I'm just using some disposable nitrile gloves today, but you know, a good high quality rubber wash glove would also work really well for protection. We want to have this stuff on before we get going. I've got long pants on. Ideally, long sleeve shirt would be nice. It's a bit warm today, so I opted out of that. So let's start by figuring out the dose for sanitizing food contact surfaces. What I would like to do is measure sanitizer out into this spray bottle for sanitizing my food contact surfaces. So this might be tables, it could be bins after they've been washed, and we just want to quickly spray them down for a sanitization step. So I know this is a 16-ounce spray bottle. It actually takes up to 24 up to this fill ring. I'm going to fill it to 16 just so I have room. So for 16 ounces of water, you can use our online sanitizer dose calculator at go.uvm.edu/web-sanitizer-calc. And what that calculator will do is let you put in what product you're using. So we would select Sanidate. It would ask you what the application is or what the use is. In this case, it's food contact surface sanitization or sanitization of surfaces, of hard surfaces. And then it'll ask what you're mixing into, what size container you're mixing into. 16 ounces, and in this case, 16 ounces of water. So we would fill this with 16 ounces of water, and then we would go get our sanitizer, in this case, Sanidate 5.0, and that I put it in a twin neck bottle here. And remember, the twin neck bottle lets you put the full strength sanitizer in here, and by loosening this cap or taking it right off, and then I've marked, so the calculator told us that to get a 500 ppm concentration of sanitizer, we're going to dose 16 ounces of water with 0.2 fluid ounces of full strength Sanidate 5.0. And I've already marked what 0.2 fluid ounces is on this, this measuring section of the twin neck bottle. And that's a good practice to do. Figure out what you need and mark it each time. It's probably going to be in between some of the other default graduations. So know what you need with the calculator and mark it. I just use a Sharpie here. If you had multiple uses, mark it and write what each one is for. So to use the twin neck bottle, we have our full strength Sanidate in the main body, and we just gently squeeze, and what happens is you can see it coming up the side here. It's going to overflow and fill into this measuring chamber. And I'm going to just gently squeeze until I'm midway up my mark. That's my dose. That should be 0.2 fluid ounces. We're going to take our spray bottle, you can use a funnel, and we can just dump it right in. And we've either got our 16 ounces already in the spray bottle, or we can now add it. Put the cap back on our twin neck bottle. Again, we've added water to our spray bottle. We're ready to go. We now have 500 ppm Sanidate for food contact surface sanitization in our spray bottle. The second use for sanitizer we wanted to cover was dosing into a sink for greens washing. And so that's really about treating post-harvest wash water or rinse water. For that application, when we use the calculator, considering this 13-gallon sink, so 13 gallons of water in this sink, when we go and use the sanitizer calculator for 13 gallons, and we indicate that we're using Sanidate for wash water treatment, we come up with a dose of about 56 milliliters. And a couple different ways to do that. One way would be to use a scoop and measure out 56 milliliters in water and just fill that scoop and then mark the line, which I've done here. So that's 56 milliliters in this 100 milliliter scoop. So we could do that. Again, we can pour out of a twin neck bottle into this. And then dose our water that way. The other option would be, these twin neck bottles don't go up to 56 milliliters, but they do go up to 30. And so we can mark out 28 milliliters in this measuring chamber and do it twice. So I've got a line here, and I say 2 times. So that's 1, so that's 28 milliliters. Second time, that's 56 milliliters. The nice thing about that is, as you're going through and using that wash water, and you use a test strip to see where you're at, say, after doing a bunch of greens, and you find you need to add some sanitizer, you can figure out how much to add using the sanitizer calculator and just use some portion of this for the recharge. So we've talked about dosing sanitizer into a spray bottle to achieve 500 ppm for food contact surface sanitization. We've talked about dosing a relatively small 13-gallon sink as part of a 3-bay or triple wash greens setup. Obviously, that sanitizer calculator can be used for any size container and any of the 3 main purposes that we use sanitizers for. For example, if you were to be mixing into a 50-gallon stock tank for greens washing, you'd need about a cup of sanitizer, and we'd start to use something more like this, right? So this would let us quickly measure out 1 cup of sanitizer to go into that 50-gallon container. As you go up to 100 gallons, it's 1.8 cups, or about 2 cups. So we take a 2-cup measure and mark out where 1.8 cups is, which is 428 milliliters. Milliliters and cups are both marked on these. So that's relatively easy to find. Mark, write the note for what it's for, and be done. You've taken the math out of the problem. If you go up to 200 gallons, you need 3.6 cups, or about 860 milliliters. So you're starting to get into probably using something like this twice. 425 milliliters twice to achieve that. The point is, the calculator can be used for any size container that you're mixing into in a variety of applications. And just think carefully about what you're using for dosing the sanitizer in. It needs to be the appropriate size to do the measurement you need. You can either mark it with a fixed measure, so you don't have to look at the faint lines from every time. And the other part is to make sure it allows you to dispense the sanitizer safely. So let's actually put some sanitizer into this sink. So we're getting ready to wash greens. We would have all 3 sinks set up for whatever our situation is. But this sink has 13 gallons of water in it. We know that by having measured the sink and know what level to fill it to in order to know we get the same amount of water each time. So for 13 gallons, again, we determined using the sanitizer dose calculator that we want to add 56 milliliters of Sanidate 5.3%, or what's known as Sanidate 5.0. We can do that by pouring directly from this secondary container or the twin neck bottle using the fill neck, or 2 times using the 28 milliliter mark. I'm just going to go ahead and use the scoop that I've already marked, and I'm going to pour out 56 milliliters. Cap my container. Just rinse the scoop out a little bit, and I'm going to add a little water just to agitate this a bit and stir it up. And the next important thing we're going to do is use a test strip to see what concentration we actually ended up with. This is a Hydrion brand of peracetic acid test strip, PAA test strip. And what happens is when we put this test strip in the water that we've just added Sanidate to, it's going to change color. And based on the color it changes to, we can determine what concentration of peroxyacetic acid we have. Here's what the test strip looks like. When it comes out, you can see it's white to start. And if we've done our work right and we have good sanitizer, it's going to change to some shade of blue. You can see that it has changed color. It's pretty dark, probably between 80 and 160. Our goal was 96 based on the web calculator. The key reason for using these is to make sure you don't go below the minimum level, which is also indicated on the calculator. We've covered a couple of different applications for sanitizer, including food contact surface sanitization and treating wash water for produce, and talked about how we can use dispensers and the web sanitizer calculator to determine the appropriate dose and deliver it when needed. We also talked about confirming the sanitizer concentration in the water using test strips, and that's something that's really important. Let's make sure we're actually getting the concentration we're supposed to and that the label requires for the use. And let's check that as we're doing the wash sequence over time. There's more information available on our website at go.uvm.edu/sanitizer dispensers.